The sky over Aurelia Prime was a deep orange, painted with streaks of violet as the twin suns began to set. On the surface, the human colony city stretched for miles, white towers glinting in the sunlight, connected by bridges and energy lines that pulsed faintly with life. From orbit, the planet looked calm, peaceful, almost ordinary. But above this ordinary world, a storm of silver and black shapes moved with precision and purpose. The alien fleet had arrived. Thousands of sleek metallic ships, each one longer than a city block, moved in perfect formation. Their surfaces shimmered with alien energy that reflected the dying sunlight. The aliens, a race called the Crithians, were known across the galaxy for their military might. Generals of the Crithian Armada hovered in their command ships, their many eyes scanning the planet below. "Look at them," said General Vrak, his voice buzzing in a strange harmonic resonance. "Their defenses are minimal. A dozen strikes, and this world will burn. These humans, they amuse me." Beside him, General Xylo chuckled, a sound like grinding metal. "Yes, primitive creatures. They send signals, they build walls, they dig trenches. It is quaint. Surely we do not need even half our fleet to deal with them." Vrak's elongated claws tapped on the control console. 1,000 years of conquest. And still we see worlds like this thinking they can resist us. How human. His tone was filled with both contempt and amusement. Inside the human colony, the scene was very different. Colonel Mira Jansen stood on the observation deck of the Central Command Tower, her eyes fixed on the approaching alien fleet. She was not a general, not in the sense the Crithians would understand, but she was a leader respected by her people for her calm mind and sharp intuition. Around her, other human commanders prepared quietly, issuing instructions in short, precise phrases. "Deploy the decoy satellites," Mira said. Her voice was steady. "Set the sensor nets on orbit. Make sure every asteroid belt near the planet is mapped. We need a full view of their approach." "Yes, Colonel," her lieutenant replied. "All satellites online. Sensor nets calibrated. Asteroid data uploaded." Mira nodded. She did not need flashy weapons or enormous ships. Humans had never matched alien technology in raw power, but humans had other tools: ingenuity, patience, and an ability to think in ways no alien could predict. As the Crithian scouts entered orbit, they transmitted images of the planet back to the generals. Vrak's many eyes widened in amusement at the tiny human ships patrolling the upper atmosphere. "See? Do you see this, Xylo?" he hissed. "A handful of ships slower than even our smallest vessels trying to challenge us." Xylo's wings shimmered in the alien light. "It is almost charming. Look at their formation. So small, so disorganized. How can they think this will matter?" Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, Mira observed the alien fleet through the main observation screens. Each ship was massive, powerful, designed to destroy. And yet she felt no fear. Fear was for those who could not plan, who could not predict. "We need to remember," she said softly, almost to herself. "We are not fighting their strength. We are fighting their assumptions." Her aide, Lieutenant Kieran, tilted his head. "Their assumptions?" Mira smiled faintly. "Yes. They think humans are weak, that we cannot think beyond brute force. That is our advantage." The humans' preparations were quiet, but precise. Drones flew into orbit not to attack but to gather data. Sensor arrays blinked, mapping every movement of the alien fleet. Satellites positioned themselves near asteroid belts, not to fire weapons, but to create subtle gravitational shifts and energy reflections. It was not flashy. It was invisible. Back in space, the Crithian generals continued their mockery. "They are sending more signals," Vrak noted. "Do they think these will confuse us?" Xylo laughed. "Confuse us? A few signals bouncing around a planet? Hardly a challenge. Humans are amusing, yes, but they are nothing more." Their fleet began to move closer, confident in their superiority. The aliens assumed the humans would react predictably. They assumed the humans would panic. But the humans did not panic. They watched. They calculated. They prepared to use the environment itself as a weapon. In orbit, a small human ship, no larger than a shuttle, positioned itself behind a rocky asteroid. From the outside, it seemed insignificant. The Crithian scouts barely noticed it. But inside, sensors hummed and screens blinked as the ship transmitted data back to the central command. Every movement of the alien fleet was tracked, every possible path mapped. "This is working," Mira said, her fingers lightly tapping the console. "They are approaching exactly where we want them. Keep the decoys active." In the alien command ship, Vrak noticed small discrepancies in the sensor readings. What is happening?" he asked, his voice tense. "Our formation, it seems wrong." Xylo frowned. "Impossible. Our ships move in perfect sync. What trickery is this?" But the Crithians could not understand. They had never faced an enemy that could manipulate the battlefield without fire, without weapons, without even moving a single ship yet. They had never faced humans. On Aurelia Prime, Mira's team moved like clockwork. Every asteroid, every orbiting satellite, every reflective surface was part of a pattern the aliens could not predict. The humans' calm exterior hid an intricate web of strategy. Hours passed. The aliens laughed, mocking the humans' primitive defenses. But their laughter began to falter. Sensors reported anomalies. Ships that should have been in formation were missing. Signals from alien vessels seemed to bounce in unexpected ways. "What is this?" Vrak growled. Why do our ships appear to move on their own?" Xylo's wings quivered with irritation. "They must be hiding something. They cannot... No, humans cannot manipulate our technology." But the humans had not manipulated alien technology. They had manipulated expectations. They had created an environment where the aliens could see what they wanted and think they understood it, while in reality, every move was part of a larger pattern the humans controlled. On the planet's surface, Mira leaned back in her chair, watching the alien fleet inch closer. "Patience," she said. "They are arrogant. They will make mistakes. They always do when they underestimate humans." Her lieutenant smiled. "It's almost beautiful how calm they are compared to those monsters." Mira nodded. "Calm is power. Calm is clarity. And humans have patience, something these generals will never understand." As the suns of Aurelia Prime dipped below the horizon, the alien fleet settled into orbit. They believed they were preparing for an easy conquest. They believed the humans were weak, scattered, unprepared, and yet, beneath the calm human city, the seeds of strategy had already been sown. Sensors hummed, drones flew silently, decoys blinked in orbit. The humans were ready, not for a battle, but for a demonstration of ingenuity that no alien could have predicted. The Crithians continued to laugh, unaware that the first step of their own undoing had already begun. Above all, one truth hung quietly in the air, unseen by the aliens. The humans were not afraid. They never had been. And in that calm, in that quiet patience, lay the power of a species that had learned to survive against impossible odds. For now, the alien generals mocked. But soon, they would learn that laughter was the first sound to fade in the face of human strategy. The alien fleet loomed over Aurelia Prime like a silver storm. From space, it seemed unstoppable, a tidal wave of power ready to sweep the humans aside. But the humans were not waiting for a wave. They were preparing a trap. Colonel Mira Jansen stood in the central command tower, her eyes scanning the live feed of the Crithian formation. Her team of scientists, engineers, and strategists worked silently around her, each focused on their tasks. Screens displayed asteroid belts, orbital paths, energy fields, and every moving ship in the alien fleet. "Drones report movement anomalies in their formation," said Lieutenant Kiran, pointing to a flickering display. "Some ships appear slightly out of position. They are overcompensating for our decoys." Mira's lips curved in a small smile. "Good. That is exactly what we want. Keep feeding the decoy signals. Let them think they are in control." The humans had no massive warships, no planet-destroying weapons, no energy beams that could rip through alien armor. What they had was planning, misdirection, and understanding of the environment. In orbit, the humans had deployed a network of small satellites. Each satellite was a simple device, reflecting light in precise patterns, bouncing signals, and creating ghost readings in the alien sensors. They also had small solar-powered drones moving in silent, unpredictable patterns. To the alien scouts, it looked like the humans had hidden fleets they did not actually possess. "Colonel," Kieran said, "our decoys are creating phantom ships in 3 sectors. They are responding to alien movement, as if anticipating their every maneuver." Mira nodded. "That's the point. Humans are unpredictable. They think we are clever, but clever alone is not enough. We use patience, observation, and adaptation. That is our advantage." Meanwhile, the Crithian general studied their screens with increasing frustration. "Why are our scouts reporting extra ships?" Vrak hissed. His many eyes narrowed. "They cannot be here. The humans do not have the technology." "They are tricking us," Xylo said. "There must be some form of human deception. But how? They are primitive. Their ships are too small to matter," Vrak growled, a vibration of tension running through his chest. "No matter. We will strike. Once we fire, their illusions will crumble." The humans had anticipated this. Mira's team had mapped every potential path of attack the aliens could take. Using the asteroid belts, they had created safe corridors and misleading channels. Energy reflections from the satellites could bend alien sensors, making ships appear where none existed and disappear where they truly were. The first phase of the strategy was subtle. The alien fleet moved as if guided by their own confidence, but in reality, they were following paths pre-selected by human calculations. Every turn, every adjustment, every attempt to outmaneuver the humans led them closer into the trap. On Aurelia Prime, Mira explained the plan to her team. "We do not fight them directly. We manipulate them, mislead them. They will think they are pursuing our fleet. They will think they are in control. All we do is observe and wait for the moment when their own arrogance becomes their weakness." Engineer Lila Chen, one of the brightest minds in the human colony, added, "Colonel, the energy reflections in the asteroid belts are working. Ships appear, disappear, and move in ways impossible to predict. Their sensors are completely confused." Mira nodded. "Good. Now we must continue with the second phase. Keep the drones moving through the belts, keep the decoy signals active, and above all, stay calm." The Crithian generals were growing frustrated. Vrak's claws tapped rapidly on the console, creating a sharp rhythm in the otherwise quiet command room. "This is impossible," he snapped. "Our sensors are failing. Our ships are moving without orders." Xylo spread her wings, shimmering with energy. "We cannot fight what we cannot see. These humans, they are cleverer than I imagined, but we will adapt. We always adapt." The humans were already several steps ahead. They had studied alien tactics for decades. They knew the Crithians relied on predictable formations, calculated paths, and a belief in their own invincibility. Humans relied on flexibility and ingenuity, traits the aliens had never truly faced in combat. Through the night, the humans executed their plan with quiet precision. Satellites blinked and shifted. Drones flew unseen. Sensors recorded every alien movement. Every small adjustment caused a ripple in the alien formation. One by one, the alien ships began to drift slightly from their original paths, thinking it was their own error. In one of the orbiting command modules, Vrak's voice was tense. "Xylo, why are our ships breaking formation? This was not programmed. This was not planned. They are human," Xylo said, a note of awe in her voice. "I do not understand how they do this, but it works." Back on the surface, Mira leaned over a console, watching a holographic display of the alien fleet. Each ship was represented by a glowing marker. Red markers indicated their actual positions. Green markers were decoys, created by human satellites. The alien fleet could not distinguish between the two. "Notice anything?" she asked Kieran. He looked closely. "Yes, their formation is uneven. Ships are moving as if chasing ghosts. Exactly, Mira said. They are chasing shadows. And we are the shadows. That is the power of perception. We can control what they think they see. As the alien fleet moved deeper into the orbit, the humans' strategy shifted to Phase 3. The asteroid belts near the planet contained hidden energy fields, carefully calibrated to bend alien sensors further. Small drones created artificial gravitational disturbances. Signals reflected off satellites caused ghost readings. The aliens were completely unaware that their own sensors were feeding them false data. Vrak's frustration boiled over. This is humiliating. Our fleet is unraveling. How can such insignificant creatures cause this much confusion? Xylo remained silent for a moment. We may need to retreat, but retreat would show weakness, and we cannot show weakness. The humans, however, did not retreat. They waited. Every movement was intentional, every observation carefully recorded. The humans' patience was unmatched. While the aliens acted impulsively, the humans acted deliberately, turning every move of the Crithian fleet into a lesson in miscalculation. Mira's team noticed subtle patterns in alien behavior. Every time the aliens tried to adjust, the humans anticipated it, shifting their decoys and satellites to counter. Every small success by the aliens was met with human adaptation. It was like a game of chess, but in 3 dimensions, with hundreds of pieces moving simultaneously. By the end of the night, the alien fleet was no longer confident. Their formations were disordered. Scouts reported phantom ships appearing in impossible locations. Energy readings flickered. Communications lagged. Even their own generals were confused. Vrak hissed, a vibration of anger and disbelief. They are manipulating everything. The planet, the space around it, everything. Xylo's wings trembled slightly. And we cannot see it. We cannot touch it. We cannot fight it. On the planet, Mira looked out at the night sky, calm as ever. Good, she said softly. They are beginning to make mistakes. That is when we gain control. Not by fighting, but by letting them fight themselves. Kieran frowned. Colonel, they are starting to send scouts into the asteroid belts. Won't they discover our decoys? Mira shook her head. No. They will see what we want them to see. Every scout they send is a step further into their own confusion. We do not hide. We mislead. That is the difference. For the first time, the humans felt a quiet thrill of hope. Not because they had weapons, but because they had outsmarted one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. Not through force, but through patience, observation, and understanding. The Crithians, meanwhile, continued to adjust, thinking they were in control, unaware that every reaction was already anticipated by the humans. Their confidence, their arrogance, and their overestimation of technology had become a weakness. As the first hints of dawn touched Aurelia Prime, the humans' network of decoys, drones, and energy reflections had already begun to create small pockets of confusion in the alien fleet. Ships that should have been together drifted apart. Communications faltered. The aliens were chasing illusions. And still, no human weapon had fired. No battle had begun. Mira turned to her team. Tomorrow, we will continue Phase 4. We will guide them further. We will let them believe they are pursuing victory. And then, we will show them how unpredictable humans can be. Her team nodded. There was no fear, no doubt. Only calm, focused preparation. The aliens, in contrast, laughed as they always did. They did not yet realize that laughter was the first sound to fade in the face of true human strategy. For now, the humans remained patient, and that patience, more than any weapon, was their greatest strength. The Crithian fleet moved cautiously now, their once confident formation unraveling like a frayed rope. Ships drifted slightly apart, communication signals flickered, and sensors reported anomalies that the generals could not explain. From orbit, the planet Aurelia Prime seemed calm, innocent even, but it hid the humans' clever design, a network of strategy the aliens could not begin to understand. On the surface, Colonel Mira Jansen watched the holographic display of the alien fleet. The lights representing ships flickered in and out, some real, some illusion. Her team monitored every movement with precise attention. "Lieutenant Kieran," she said, pointing to the display, "notice how they drift further into the asteroid belts? That is exactly where we want them. Keep the decoys active and continue monitoring energy reflections. Make sure no ship moves undetected." Kieran nodded, eyes wide with excitement. "Colonel, they are following the illusions we've created perfectly. They don't even suspect the traps ahead." "Perfect," Mira said. "Humans never fight blindly. We guide, we anticipate, and we wait for the moment when the enemy's confidence becomes their weakness." Above the planet, the Crethean general's confidence was slipping. Vrak tapped furiously on his console, eyes narrowing at the flickering sensor readings. "This is impossible," he hissed. "Our ships are disappearing. Where are they going?" "Xylo, explain this immediately." Xylo's wings trembled as she scanned the data. "It's as if they are vanishing. Ships that were here a moment ago are no longer detected. Our formations are breaking apart, but there is no damage, no attack, nothing." Vrak's many eyes blinked rapidly. "How can this be? Our scanners are flawless. Our fleet cannot simply vanish." On the planet, Mira's lips curved slightly. She did not need the Crithians to understand, they never would. Their arrogance made them blind. Their technology, unmatched in power, could not adapt to the unexpected. Lieutenant Kieran pointed at a holographic display. "Colonel, our energy reflections and decoys are causing their sensors to misinterpret positions. Ships that move slightly off course appear to vanish. The fleet is fragmenting without even realizing it." "Exactly," Mira said softly. "They are chasing shadows. Every adjustment they make is one we anticipated. Their own confidence is leading them into confusion." The aliens began sending scouts further into the asteroid belts, hoping to regain control. But the humans had anticipated this too. Hidden gravitational shifts created by small drones made the alien ship's sensors flicker uncontrollably. Energy reflections from satellites caused ghost ships to appear where none existed. Every step the Crithians took only pulled them deeper into the humans' web. Vrak's frustration was palpable. No. Our scouts are reporting phantom fleets. Ships in impossible positions. How is this possible?" Xylo's voice was quieter now, tinged with fear. "They are humans, and they are thinking faster than we can adapt." Inside Aurelia Prime, Mira leaned back in her chair, calm as ever. "Observe carefully," she said. "They are beginning to panic. That is when humans gain the advantage. Not through weapons, but by letting the enemy unravel themselves." The first Crethian ships began to move further apart, trying to maintain formation. Signals flickered, causing confusion among smaller vessels. Each attempt to regroup only made the fleet look more scattered. In orbit, a single human drone darted through a narrow asteroid corridor. To the alien sensors, it appeared as a small fleet of dozens of ships moving unpredictably. This illusion caused one group of Crithian vessels to divert their path, only to encounter another layer of decoys. One by one, the alien ships seemed to vanish from each other's screens. Vrak hissed, his voice vibrating with tension. "They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. This is madness. Tell me, Xylo, why are we losing our own ships without a single strike against them?" "They cannot understand," Xylo admitted. "We were never meant to face humans who plan this way. Their strategy is beyond us." Meanwhile, the human system of coordination remained flawless. Each drone, satellite, and sensor played its part in a dance the aliens could not see. Every phantom ship, every disappearing signal was a calculated move. Mira pointed to a display showing energy reflections along the asteroid belts. "Notice the pattern. Every time they attempt to regroup, they move into positions that appear empty to their own sensors. They are lost in illusions of their own creation." Kieran's eyes widened. "Colonel, they don't even realize they are chasing nothing." "Exactly," Mira said. We do not attack. We guide. And now, they are following the path we want them to follow. On the alien command ship, Vrak's many eyes narrowed, scanning the broken formations. Report. Where are the ships of the 4th Armada? They were in Sector 9. They are gone, General, a subordinate replied. Sensors detect nothing. No energy signatures, no communication. They vanished. Impossible. Vrak screamed, though the sound was more vibration than voice. This cannot happen. Our fleet is flawless, flawless. But the humans were flawless in a different way, through thought, patience, and perception. Back on Aurelia Prime, Mira's team prepared for the next phase. The aliens' confusion had reached a peak, but they still believed they were in control. The humans' advantage was in letting that confidence lead the Crithians further into their own mistakes. Phase 2 is complete, Mira said. Now, we begin Phase 3. We will guide them deeper and let their fleet unravel completely. We do not fight. We do not fire. Their own arrogance will do the work for us. In space, the Crithians struggled to understand what had happened. Ships reported vanishing. Formations broke apart and communication lagged. Vrak's claws trembled on the console. They are manipulating space itself, he whispered. Or perhaps it is our own perception. I cannot tell. Xylo's wings quivered. They are humans, and we cannot understand them. On the planet, Mira observed the fleet with calm eyes. They are beginning to believe in illusions, she said. They are chasing shadows, and soon they will vanish entirely, not because of weapons, but because they cannot see the reality we control. Kieran looked at the holographic display. Colonel, half their fleet is now scattered. They cannot regroup. Some ships don't even appear on their own sensors. Good, Mira said. Now we continue to guide them. Patience is our weapon. Observation is our shield. And the moment they realize what is happening, it will be too late. Hours passed. The alien fleet, once confident and proud, drifted in confusion. Ships appeared in impossible positions, sensors flickered, and communication signals were lost. The Crithian generals argued among themselves, unable to agree on a plan. Their arrogance had led them here, into a trap they could not even see. Mira's team remained calm. Every movement of the Crithians was anticipated. Every misstep was part of the humans' plan. Vrak finally hissed in defeat. Xylo, we are losing our own fleet without a single strike. How do we fight something that disappears from our own eyes? Xylo could only shake her head. We cannot. They are humans, and we cannot fight them in the way we know. On Aurelia Prime, Mira looked up at the stars, calm and confident. No human has ever been defeated by arrogance alone, she whispered. And these aliens are learning that now. By the end of the day, the Crithian fleet was partially lost, scattered, and confused. No ship had fired a weapon. No human had been harmed. Yet the humans had demonstrated power beyond technology, power of mind, strategy, and patience. The Crithian fleet drifted in a state of disarray, the proud Armada now a shadow of its former self. Ships that had once gleamed with unstoppable confidence now floated in confusion, their sensors betraying them. Energy readings flickered, communication lines crackled, and generals barked orders that went unheeded. On Aurelia Prime, Colonel Mira Jansen watched the holographic displays with calm eyes. Every ship, every ghost signal, every reflection had been anticipated. Humans had turned the aliens' confidence into their own enemy. Lieutenant Kieran, Mira said, pointing at the display, notice their pathing. They are chasing illusions, unable to regroup. Some ships do not even appear to their own sensors. This is where patience becomes power. Kieran's eyes widened. Colonel, half their fleet is now in the asteroid belts. They don't even know how to move without colliding with each other or chasing ghosts. Good, Mira said. Let them continue. Every moment they waste chasing illusions is a moment they lose control. We do not interfere. We observe. And we wait. In the alien command ship, Vrak's eyes scanned the flickering positions of his fleet. Panic had begun to seep into the usually cold, calculated mind of the Crithian general. "Xylo," he hissed. "Report. How is it possible that our own ships appear to vanish? How can we fight something that doesn't even exist where our sensors say it does?" Xylo's wings shimmered nervously. "It is not physical manipulation, Vrak. It is perception. Humans are guiding us into error without lifting a weapon. They control our understanding of space itself." Vrak's claws rattled against the console. "Impossible. We have faced every species in the galaxy. No one has ever done this." On Aurelia Prime, Mira watched the alien chaos unfold. "They are arrogant," she whispered. "And arrogance is fragile. It breaks first when they cannot see beyond themselves." The human strategy now moved into Phase 4. The alien generals were panicked, arguing among themselves, struggling to make sense of their fleet. The humans were calm, continuing to manipulate the battlefield through subtle misdirection and perfect timing. Small human drones darted through the asteroid belts, creating shifting energy fields and subtle gravitational disturbances. Every ghost ship, every reflection, every phantom signal forced the Crithians to move incorrectly. Ships that tried to regroup only collided with illusions. Ships that tried to communicate lost contact. The aliens were caught in a web of perception. They could not untangle. Vrak's many eyes blinked rapidly. "Xylo, our command structure is breaking. Ships are drifting. Communications fail. How can this be?" Xylo shivered. "They are humans, Vrak. We cannot anticipate them. Our technology cannot predict their strategy." Meanwhile, on the planet, Mira's team monitored every move. The humans were no longer simply misleading the aliens. They were controlling the flow of space as the aliens perceived it. Every step the Crithians took was predicted, every adjustment countered. It was as if the humans were conducting an invisible symphony, with alien ships as their instruments. "Lieutenant," Kieran shook his head in disbelief. "Colonel, it's incredible. They think they are commanding the fleet, but it is we who guide them. Every ship is moving exactly where we want." "Exactly," Mira said. "That is the power of human strategy. We do not fight with fire. We fight with understanding, patience, and foresight. And now they are starting to realize their arrogance has been their greatest weakness." The Crithian fleet continued to fragment. Ships were lost in the asteroid belts, unable to determine friend from illusion. Signals contradicted each other. One squadron would vanish from sensors while another appeared in its place. The alien generals were paralyzed by confusion. Vrak's claws trembled. "They are ghosts, Xylo. Entire fleets vanish as if swallowed by space itself. This is unacceptable." Xylo's wings twitched. "We cannot adapt fast enough. Humans, they are something entirely different. They anticipate, they plan, they deceive without any weapons at all. They are dangerous." Mira, observing from the command tower, allowed herself a small smile. "Yes, Lieutenant, they are dangerous, but not because of strength. They are dangerous because of intelligence, because of patience, because of clarity." The humans now began Phase 5, guiding the aliens further into the confusion. Energy reflections created ghost fleets in the regions the Crithians believed were clear. Small gravitational distortions caused ships to drift slowly off course. Every attempt by the aliens to regroup was subtly undermined by the humans' precise calculations. Vrak snapped his claws against the console. "We are losing control. Our own ships vanish. They do not respond to commands. We cannot fight them in the way we know." Xylo's voice was low, trembling. "They are humans. They do not play by our rules. We cannot understand them. They are beyond us." On Aurelia Prime, Mira observed the effect of their plan. "Notice how every misstep we predicted has occurred, exactly as expected," she said. "That is strategy. We control not through weapons, but by controlling perception. Humans win by thinking faster than the enemy." Lieutenant Kieran frowned. "Colonel, some ships are now completely isolated. They cannot communicate with the rest of the fleet. They will panic if they try to regroup." "Good," Mira said. "Let them panic. Do not intervene. Patience is our greatest weapon. Observation is our shield, and their arrogance is their undoing. Above, the Crithian generals argued among themselves. Vrak's voice shook with anger. Xylo, why are our ships lost? Why do we chase nothing? We are the strongest fleet in the galaxy. How can this be? Xylo's wings quivered. We are witnessing something we cannot understand. Humans. They manipulate without weapons. They are cleverer than any species we have faced. On the surface, Mira smiled. They underestimate us, and that underestimation has brought them to this point. They do not see us. They do not anticipate us. And that is the human advantage. The humans' invisible network of control continued. Ghost ships appeared in one sector, while real ships moved undetected elsewhere. Drones created small energy fields that mimicked massive ship engines. Every attempt by the aliens to regain formation only drew them deeper into disarray. Vrak's eyes widened in disbelief. Our fleet, we cannot. It is vanishing, Xylo whispered almost in awe. Not vanishing, Vrak. Guided. They are controlling what we see, what we perceive. They are humans. Mira watched as the aliens' confusion reached a peak. Yes, Lieutenant, she said. They are beginning to understand what it means to face humans, and it is terrifying even to them. By the end of the day, the Crithian fleet was scattered, confused, and unable to regain coordination. Ships drifted in isolation, communication signals were lost, and generals argued while the humans remained calm. Mira turned to her team. Phase 4 is complete. The aliens are now fully disoriented. Tomorrow, we will begin the final phase. We will show them that humans do not need weapons to win. We will show them that intelligence, patience, and strategy are stronger than arrogance and technology. Lieutenant Kieran nodded, a quiet pride in his eyes. Colonel, they laughed at us. They mocked our strategy, and now they cannot even see us properly. Mira looked at the sky, calm and confident. Good. Let them continue to chase ghosts. Let them continue to unravel. For humans, victory does not require force. It requires thought, foresight, and the patience to let the enemy destroy themselves. And in that quiet command tower, the humans smiled, ready for the final step in proving their greatest truth. Brains will always surpass arrogance, and strategy will always outshine force. The Crithian generals had laughed once. Now they were lost in confusion, and their laughter had disappeared. The alien fleet drifted in silence. The proud Crithian Armada, once a storm of power, now seemed almost lost in space. Ships that had once gleamed like silver predators now floated isolated and confused. Energy readings flickered, signals failed, communication lines were fractured. And still not a single human weapon had fired. On Aurelia Prime, Colonel Mira Jansen watched the holographic display of the alien fleet. Every ship was exactly where she wanted it, even if the aliens believed it was by their own mistake. The human strategy had reached its peak. Lieutenant Kieran, Mira said, pointing to the display, notice how their fleet is completely scattered? Ships that should be in formation are isolated. Communication is impossible. They have lost all sense of control. Kieran's eyes widened. Colonel, they are floating in chaos. They cannot regroup and we haven't fired a single shot. Mira smiled faintly. That is the beauty of human strategy. We win not by force, but by thought, by anticipation, by patience. And now, they will learn the same lesson we have learned in countless battles. Arrogance is dangerous. In the alien command ship, General Vrak's multiple eyes darted across failing sensors. Panic had replaced arrogance. Xylo, what is happening? Our ships, they are gone, vanished. How can an entire fleet disappear without a fight? Xylo's wings trembled as she scanned the readings. It is not physical destruction, Vrak. It is perception. Humans have guided us into confusion. They have manipulated what we see and believe. Our ships are intact, but we cannot locate them. We cannot control them. We are defeated without a battle. Frake hissed, disbelief vibrating through him. Impossible. No species in the galaxy has ever done this to us. They are humans, Xylo said softly, almost reverently. And they are beyond us. Back on Aurelia Prime, Mira leaned, back in her chair, calm as ever. They are beginning to understand, she said, not through weapons, not through force, but through intelligence, patience, and strategy. That is the human advantage. Lieutenant Kieran shook his head in awe. Colonel, they mocked us, they laughed at our tactics, and now they cannot even see their own ships. Exactly, Mira said. They underestimated us, as every enemy does. That is the lesson of humans. We adapt, we anticipate, and we prevail. Not through violence, but through thought. In space, the Crithian fleet continued to drift. Attempts to regroup failed. Ships that moved toward each other encountered only illusions. Communications became impossible. Each general tried to assert command, but their technology betrayed them. Even Vrak, one of the most feared Crithian leaders, was helpless against the humans' invisible strategy. And yet, despite their confusion, the aliens did not destroy the humans. They had not fired. They had not launched a single attack. Humans had achieved something extraordinary, a victory without violence. Mira addressed her team. We maintain position, but no action is required. The aliens are already trapped in their own perception. Let them realize the power of strategy, patience, and foresight. Let them learn the respect humans command. Her team nodded. Scientists, engineers, and strategists alike shared a quiet sense of pride. They had accomplished what no weapon could. Victory through ingenuity, observation, and understanding. Below, the human city glimmered under Aurelia Prime's twin suns. People continued their daily lives, unaware of how close their world had been to invasion, or how subtly humans had turned a terrifying threat into a demonstration of skill and intelligence. Vrak and Xylo hovered in their command ship, realizing their fleet was irreversibly scattered. The pride of the Crithians had been shattered, and for the first time in history they understood that humans were not weak, primitive, or naive. They were formidable because of their mind. We cannot fight them in the way we know, Vrak admitted, his voice trembling. They do not act as any species acts. They think, they anticipate, they guide us into our own errors. Xylo nodded slowly. And we respect them for it. Perhaps we underestimated humans for too long. Meanwhile, Mira smiled faintly. Respect is earned, Lieutenant. Not by weapons, not by domination, but by demonstrating understanding and intelligence. Across the human command center, the team continued to monitor the Crithian fleet. Each movement of the aliens remained within the humans' calculated parameters. Every ship that appeared to vanish was accounted for. Every illusion served a purpose. Humanity's discipline and foresight had turned arrogance into confusion, and confusion into respect. Kieran whispered, Colonel. They are beginning to send messages. Mira leaned forward. The messages were simple, hesitant, but filled with acknowledgement. The Crithian generals were communicating their respect, their realization that humans had outsmarted them without a single shot fired. They acknowledge our skill, Mira said softly. Not because we fought, but because we planned. Not because we destroyed, but because we outthought. That is the lesson humans bring to the galaxy. Intelligence is stronger than force. Patience stronger than arrogance. The alien messages continued. They did not beg for surrender. They did not threaten. They simply recognized a power they could not touch, a strength they could not destroy. Humans had proven that a species could rise above technology through ingenuity, coordination, and the courage to think differently. On Aurelia Prime, Mira allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had won not through might, but through the very qualities that made humans human: patience, intelligence, and cooperation. She turned to her team. We will continue to monitor, but know this: Today, humans demonstrated a truth the galaxy will not forget. No fleet, no weapon, no arrogance can match the power of a species that thinks, that adapts, that anticipates. The Crithian fleet slowly withdrew from the asteroid belts, still disoriented. The generals had learned their lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not predictable. Humans were worthy of respect. Back on the planet, the citizens of Aurelia Prime went about their day unaware of the cosmic drama above. Children played in the parks, farmers tended their fields, and scientists worked in labs. Humanity's victory had been quiet, subtle, and brilliant. Mira watched the sky, her eyes reflecting both pride and calm. "They laughed at us," she said softly, "and now they understand. That is the power of human thought. That is the lesson we carry across the stars." Lieutenant Kieran smiled. "Colonel, they will remember this, and other species will too. Humans, we are more than they ever expected." "Yes," Mira said, her gaze steady. "We are humans, and that is more than enough." As the Crithians finally departed Aurelia Prime's orbit, their fleet diminished and their confidence shaken, the humans celebrated not with weapons, but with knowledge, teamwork, and quiet satisfaction. They had survived, outsmarted, and gained the respect of a species that had never underestimated anyone. The galaxy, once ready to dismiss humanity as weak, had begun to see a different truth. Humans were clever, patient, and unstoppable when united by strategy and intelligence. The story of Aurelia Prime would spread among the stars, not as a tale of destruction, but as a tale of human ingenuity and the triumph of thought over arrogance. Mira turned from the displays, her team beside her. "Remember this," she said. "Today we did not fight with weapons. We fought with minds. And that is a victory the galaxy cannot take from us." The sun rose over Aurelia Prime, golden light spilling across the city. Humans went about their day, unaware of the lesson they had just taught the galaxy. Above, the alien fleet vanished into the distance, leaving behind only respect, awe, and a memory of human brilliance. And in the quiet, calm control room, Mira whispered one last truth to herself. Humans are not weak. We are thinkers. We are observers. We are survivors. And we will always find a way. The galaxy had laughed at humanity once, but now every corner of space would remember, never underestimate a species that can win without ever firing a weapon.